Imagine standing before a woman and saying nothing, yet she feels your presence like a weight in the room. That, my friends, is what true power looks like. It is not the loud man who is heard, it is the one who does not need to raise his voice. Masculine energy is not something you beg for. It is not something you perform like an actor on a stage. It is something you embody, quietly, fully, and without apology. When a man lives with purpose, when his actions align with his vision, when he does not crumble at rejection or bend for approval, he becomes magnetic. Women are not drawn to desperation. They are drawn to certainty. They are drawn to the man who knows who he is, who walks into a room with the calm assurance that he belongs wherever he chooses to be. Most men make the mistake of chasing, of performing tricks, of seeking attention. They think if they run fast enough behind her, she will stop and turn. But what happens? The moment you chase, she feels your energy collapse. She knows you are seeking something from her, and desire does not grow from need. Desire grows from strength. If she feels you are the one anchoring the moment, if she senses that you could walk away at any time and still remain fulfilled, her mind begins to circle around you. It is not words that bind her, it is your very presence. Consider this: a king does not beg for loyalty. He does not go knocking on doors asking to be loved. He sits upon his throne and others orbit him. Why? Because he represents stability, dominance, and direction. In the same way, if you want a woman to be sexually obsessed with you, you must stop proving and start being. Women sense energy far more sharply than they admit. They notice the subtle shift in your body language, the weight of your eye contact, the control in your tone. A man who cannot command himself cannot command attraction, but a man who carries discipline, self-respect, and unshakable confidence will ignite something deep within her, the primal instinct to pursue, to submit, to desire. You do not need to be the richest, nor the most handsome, nor the strongest. What you must possess is authority over yourself, authority over your emotions, authority over your desires, authority over your time. When she sees that you are not moved by her beauty alone, when she realizes you do not bend your schedule just to please her, when she feels that you are a man who demands respect simply by existing, her mind begins to obsess. She will wonder why you do not fall at her feet like the others. She will wonder what you have that makes you untouchable. And in her wonder, attraction grows into hunger. Understand this: men who chase signal to a woman that they have nothing better than her attention. But men who stand still, rooted in their own path, force her to question why she is not yet the center of their world. That question is the seed of obsession. It is the flame that burns in her long after you've left the room. The less you need to prove, the more she imagines. The less you explain, the more she craves to understand. Mystery is not created by games, it is created by restraint. By not giving all of yourself too quickly, you become rare, and rarity is irresistible. The presence I speak of is not arrogance, it is not aggression. It is calm dominance, the quiet force that bends the world without raising its hand. It is built through discipline. It comes from the way you carry your body, the way you look into her eyes without wavering, the way you remain unmoved when others scramble for her approval. This presence cannot be faked, it must be lived. Build it in the silence of your mornings, in the discipline of your work, in the consistency of your purpose. Then, when you stand before her, it will not be something you switch on. It will simply radiate from you like heat from a flame. And make no mistake, women feel it. They may not describe it in words, but they sense it in their bones. A man in command of his own being awakens their deepest instincts. It is not the chase that makes her obsessed. It is the fact that you do not chase. It is not the praise you give her, but the boundaries you maintain. It is not the gifts or words you shower, but the way you move through life as if her desire is only a fraction of your world. That contrast, that discipline, that power, that is what burns into her mind. So, before you think of techniques or strategies, ask yourself this: who are you when you enter the room? Do you fold under her beauty, or do you hold steady? Do you seek her validation, or does she fight for yours? Because the first step in making her sexually obsessed with you is not about her at all. It is about you. It is about becoming a man who does not need to chase, because he knows that the moment he stands firm, she will be drawn to him like a moth to fire. Desire does not thrive in certainty, it thrives in the unknown. When everything is given too quickly, when every question is answered, when every move is predictable, attraction dies. What keeps the human mind awake at night is not what it already possesses, but what it cannot yet grasp. This is why the art of creating psychological tension is so powerful. It is not about lies, it is not about manipulation, but about understanding one truth. Anticipation is more intoxicating than satisfaction. A woman becomes obsessed not when she has all of you, but when she feels there is always more to uncover, more to wonder, more to crave. Most men suffocate desire by giving it all away too soon. They speak too much, reveal too much, make themselves endlessly available. They remove the mystery, and in doing so, they remove the spark. Desire needs space, it needs contrast. It needs that invisible string pulling her forward, making her think about you long after you have left the room. That string is created through subtle unpredictability. Sometimes your presence is there, steady and magnetic, and sometimes it is absent, leaving her to yearn for its return. Sometimes you speak with intensity, and sometimes you fall into silence, forcing her to search for meaning. Sometimes you give her attention, and sometimes you withdraw it, making her wonder why she no longer holds the spotlight. This rhythm, this rise and fall, is what stirs her emotions into obsession. Think of fire. If you feed it too much fuel at once, it burns out quickly. But if you give it in measured portions, if you let the flames hunger before feeding them again, it grows hotter, fiercer, harder to control. Women are no different. If you are always available, always saying yes, always pouring energy without pause, she loses the thrill. But if you hold back, if you make her wait, if you let her imagination work against her, her desire intensifies. She will replay your words in her head, dissect your silences, interpret your pauses. And in that process, she ties herself closer to you without even realizing it. Psychological tension is not about cruelty. It is about depth. It is the ability to touch her emotions in a way that keeps her unsteady, always guessing, never fully secure. Security may build comfort, but it rarely builds obsession. Obsession is born in the space between satisfaction and denial, in the gap between what she feels now and what she wants to feel next. You must learn to dance in that space. Give her moments of passion, but not permanence. Give her closeness, but not possession. Give her glimpses of the fire, but never the whole flame. Even in conversation, tension can be created. Do not always rush to answer her questions. Let silence hang. Let your eyes hold hers. Let her feel the weight of not knowing what you will say next. When you speak, speak with intention, but not always with completeness. Leave room for her to imagine what you meant. When you touch her, do not linger as if you are desperate. Touch as if you are testing, as if you could pull away at any moment. The human mind craves what it cannot predict, and if you master unpredictability, you master attraction. You will notice how easily most men fail here. They flood a woman with compliments until words lose meaning. They text without pause, answer instantly, and destroy the space where longing could grow. They believe constant attention equals desire, but it is the opposite. Constant attention kills the mystery. It gives her no reason to think, no reason to dream, no reason to chase. But a man who knows when to withdraw, when to leave her hanging on a thought, when to make her wonder what he is doing without her, this man ignites the fire of obsession. And yet, the key is balance. Too much distance and she feels abandoned. Too much closeness and she feels smothered. But just enough unpredictability, just enough delay, just enough teasing without fulfillment. This keeps her hooked. She begins to crave the highs and lows, the intensity followed by absence, the sweet taste followed by the denial of more. Her emotions, not just her body, become tied to you. And once her emotions are tied, her desire follows without resistance. Never underestimate the power of leaving something unsaid, something undone, something withheld. The promise of more is stronger than the delivery of all. If you can create a rhythm where she is never fully satisfied, never fully certain, never fully secure, she will think of you constantly. She will feel you in your absence more than she did in your presence. And that is the mark of true obsession. It is not the man who gives everything who is desired, but the man who gives just enough to awaken hunger, then withdraws to let that hunger grow until it consumes her thoughts. That is the art of psychological tension. A man who seeks validation is already defeated. The moment you beg for approval, you place yourself beneath the one you desire. And once she senses that you are beneath her, attraction begins to wither. Women are not obsessed with men who pedestalize them, who adjust every action to please, who live in fear of disapproval. They are obsessed with the man who controls the frame. The frame is the invisible structure that governs every interaction. It is not spoken, but it is felt. It is the set of unspoken rules that dictate whose world the two of you are living in, hers or yours. If you do not control it, she will. And when she does, you will find yourself chasing, pleasing, and compromising until nothing of value remains. Control of the frame begins with certainty. When you walk into her life, you must bring a world with you. A world shaped by your principles, your standards, your expectations. Too many men enter a woman's life with nothing but desire, and because they bring no world of their own, they are swallowed into hers. They adapt to her schedule, they adjust to her mood, they bend to her conditions. And in doing so, they lose themselves. A man without a frame is like a house without walls. Any wind can blow it down. But when you hold the frame, she must adapt to you. She must move within the boundaries you set, and in that adaptation, her desire grows. Understand this: women test men constantly. They do not test out of malice, but out of instinct. They press to see if you will bend, if you will break, if you will abandon your own standards for a taste of their approval. Every time you fail such a test, every time you fold, her respect diminishes. And without respect, there can be no obsession. But if you stand firm, if you smile at her attempts and refuse to move from your position, she begins to feel something far stronger than respect. She feels fascination. She wonders why you do not collapse like the others. She wonders what makes you so sure of yourself. That wondering, that curiosity, is the soil in which obsession grows. Consider the difference between the man who asks, "What do you want me to be?" and the man who says, "This is who I am, and this is where I'm going." The first is forgettable, interchangeable, easily replaced. The second is unforgettable because he is rare. Women are surrounded by men who seek their validation, but very few who demand they rise to their level. When you hold the frame, when you refuse to be swayed by beauty alone, when you make her qualify to you instead of endlessly qualifying yourself to her, you invert the dynamic. You transform yourself from pursuer into prize. And women are not obsessed with what they easily obtain. They are obsessed with what they must fight to keep. This does not mean cruelty. It does not mean arrogance. It means that your values are not for sale. Your respect cannot be bought with her charm, her attention, or even her body. You decide what you will accept and what you will not, and you enforce it without hesitation. If she steps outside your boundaries, you do not argue, you do not plead, you withdraw. The absence of your presence becomes the sharpest lesson. A man who walks away from disrespect is far more attractive than one who tolerates it for the sake of closeness. She will think of you, not because you begged, but because you refused. The frame is also maintained through control of your emotions. A man who erupts in anger at every slight, who sulks when he does not get his way, who begs when she withdraws affection. This man has lost control of himself, and thus he has lost control of the frame. True power is calm. True dominance is unshaken. You must show that her storms cannot move you, that her silence does not break you, that her beauty does not enslave you. The less you are swayed, the more she is drawn in, because a woman cannot obsess over a man she can easily predict and control, but she will endlessly obsess over the man whose frame she cannot conquer. Even in moments of intimacy, the frame matters. If you chase her approval in the physical, if you seek reassurance that you satisfy her, you place yourself beneath her. But if you move with confidence, if you take your pleasure without apology, if you let her feel that you are the one setting the rhythm, the one commanding the moment, her desire deepens. Obsession is born not from equality in desire, but from imbalance, where she feels she must constantly earn more of you, where she feels that no matter how close she comes, there is always more power resting in your hands. Men who chase validation fade into the background of memory, but men who control the frame carve themselves into a woman's mind. She will not forget the one who refused to bend. She will not forget the one who made her rise to his standard. She will not forget the one whose presence could not be swayed by charm or demand. Such men are not simply desired, they are obsessed over. A woman may be drawn to your appearance, she may admire your confidence, she may even feel the spark of physical attraction when you enter a room. But none of this will make her obsessed. Obsession is born not in the body, but in the emotions. The body reacts in the moment. Emotions linger in the silence, in the hours after, in the restless nights when she cannot stop thinking about you. If you want her to be consumed with desire, you must learn to touch her feelings in ways that no other man dares. It is not enough to satisfy her physically. You must ignite her imagination, her curiosity, her excitement, and even her frustration. When her emotions rise and fall because of you, when she feels highs and lows that she cannot control, she begins to weave you into her very sense of self. Most men never understand this. They focus only on the surface, on compliments, on gestures, on physicality. They believe if they give enough of these, she will remain hooked. But she won't. Surface attraction fades quickly because it is easily replaced. Another man can be handsome. Another man can flatter. Another man can buy her gifts, but very few can make her feel. That is why emotions are the battlefield of obsession. If you control what she feels, you control how often she thinks of you. And if she cannot stop thinking of you, she cannot stop wanting you. To achieve this, you must learn to awaken different sides of her. Excite her with your presence, then frustrate her with your distance. Make her laugh until she forgets herself, then silence her with the intensity of your gaze. Let her feel secure for a moment, then shake that security with a teasing remark that forces her to question. Do not be predictable. Predictability is the death of emotion. When she knows exactly what you will do, there is no surprise, no tension, no thrill. But when she cannot fully anticipate your next move, when she feels both drawn to you and challenged by you, her emotions begin to rise and fall in a rhythm that keeps her addicted. This is not cruelty, it is depth. It is the recognition that the human heart does not crave monotony. It craves stimulation. A straight line is calm, but it is also lifeless. A pulse rises and falls, and in those rises and falls is the proof of life. A woman does not become obsessed with a man who offers her a flat line of predictable comfort. She becomes obsessed with the man who takes her on a journey of emotional highs and lows. She may resist it, she may deny it, she may even claim she wants stability above all, but her actions will betray her words. Time and again, she will return to the one who makes her feel the most alive. Connection is not built by always agreeing with her, by always indulging her, by always smoothing over every disagreement. Real connection is forged when she feels seen, when she feels challenged, when she feels awakened. If she says something foolish, you must call it out, not with cruelty, but with a sharpness that commands respect. If she seeks to manipulate with silence, you must meet it with calm strength, not begging. If she tests you with jealousy, you must hold steady, showing that her games cannot move you. Every one of these moments is emotional. Every one is an opportunity to either bend and lose her respect, or to stand firm and deepen her obsession. But it is not only in conflict that emotions are stirred. It is also in vulnerability, in rare glimpses behind your armor, when you reveal just enough of your inner world to let her see that beneath your strength lies depth, vision, and fire. You bind her even tighter. For a man who is only strong can be admired, but a man who is both strong and layered is unforgettable. Let her see your ambition. Let her feel your passion. Let her sense that your world is larger than hers. Share just enough to awaken her curiosity, but never enough for her to feel she has reached the bottom. The mystery of a man's depth is a chain she cannot break. Even intimacy must carry emotional weight. If you treat it as a mere act, it fades quickly. But if you combine physical connection with emotional shifts, dominance and tenderness, control and surrender, silence and intensity, you create an experience that imprints itself on her memory. Long after the moment ends, she will replay it. She will feel it again. She will hunger for its return. She will not crave the act itself, but the emotions you evoked within it. And that craving will not leave her. Remember, a woman does not become obsessed with a man who touches her body. She becomes obsessed with the man who invades her mind, who unsettles her heart, who lingers in her emotions. It is not what you give her that binds her. It is what you make her feel. And if you can control her emotions, you control her obsession. The man who is easily available, who throws himself at every opportunity, who gives his time and energy to anyone who asks, is never truly desired. He may be liked, he may be tolerated, he may even be used, but he will never be obsessed over. Obsession belongs to the man who is rare, the man who knows his value, who lives with purpose, who does not give himself away freely. When you are scarce, when you become difficult to obtain, when you turn your presence into something precious, you transform yourself into the prize. And women do not chase what is common. They chase what is rare. They crave what is scarce. They fight for what few can have. To be the prize, you must first master yourself. A man who is ruled by his urges, who cannot say no to temptation, who bends to the pull of every beautiful face, is weak. She may enjoy his attention for a moment, but she will never respect him. And without respect, there is no lasting desire. But a man who chooses carefully, who disciplines his energy, who gives his presence only to those who earn it, becomes unforgettable. She will see that while others beg for her time, you remain unmoved. While others chase, you stand still. While others surrender their dignity for her attention, you remain selective, as if you are the one granting the gift of your presence. This reversal changes everything. Instead of you chasing her, she begins to chase you. Scarcity is not about pretending to be unavailable. It is about truly living a life where you are not dependent on her. When your time is filled with ambition, when your mind is consumed with building, when your energy is invested in your growth, you naturally become less accessible. And that distance, that absence, that difficulty in reaching you, is what makes her hunger for more. A man with no purpose can always be found. A man with a vision cannot. She will notice the difference. She will see that when she is with you, she is stepping into a world that moves with or without her. And that realization plants the seed of desire, because she knows you do not need her, you chose her. Understand, value is never proclaimed, it is demonstrated. You do not tell her you are rare. You show her through your actions. You do not tell her you are the prize. You live in such a way that she feels it without words. When you walk away from drama instead of engaging, when you refuse to give your attention cheaply, when you remain calm while others clamor for her approval, she feels the weight of your self-mastery. She begins to measure herself against you, wondering if she is worthy of your time, wondering what she must do to hold your focus. And that wondering becomes a chain that binds her. But here is the truth many men fear. Being the prize means some will not win you. It means some women will walk away because they cannot meet your standards. And this is not a loss, it is a purification. Let them go. Because the one who does not rise to meet you was never capable of obsession in the first place. The one who stays, the one who fights for your time, the one who feels the weight of your scarcity, will cling to you with everything she has. She will chase, she will compete. She will burn with the desire to possess what others cannot. And in that desire, her obsession is born. Do not mistake arrogance for value. The man who brags about being the prize has already lost. True value does not announce itself. It is recognized. A diamond does not need to scream that it is rare. Its very existence declares it. In the same way, you must let your discipline, your ambition, your calm confidence speak for you. When she sees that you do not bend for anyone, when she feels that you do not give yourself away lightly, when she realizes she must earn what others freely give, her attraction deepens into fixation. Even in intimacy, the principle holds. If you give all of yourself too quickly, if you pour every ounce of attention without restraint, the mystery dies. But if you pace yourself, if you leave something untouched, something for her to crave the next time, you keep her hooked. Never give everything at once. Always leave her wanting more. For it is not fullness that drives obsession, but hunger. The world is filled with men who try too hard, who sell themselves cheaply, who believe that constant pursuit equals value. But a man who knows he is the prize understands the opposite. It is not in chasing that you win her. It is in standing firm, in living with purpose, in being so rare that she cannot help but fight for your attention. She will desire not because you begged, but because you withheld. She will crave not because you gave freely, but because you made her earn every piece of you. There is one truth that most men never realize: women are not drawn only to what a man does for them, but to the world he creates around himself. A man who stands alone, with no vision, no mission, no higher pursuit, is nothing more than a body. She may enjoy him for a moment, but she will never be consumed by him. What burns into her mind, what haunts her when she is away, is the man whose life feels larger than her, whose purpose extends beyond her, whose presence reminds her that she is standing before someone she cannot fully control. This is the essence of lasting obsession, to be more than just a man in her bed. You must be a force in her life. A man with no direction becomes predictable. He wakes, he works, he drifts, he waits. His attention is available to anyone because he has nothing greater to serve. Such a man may be convenient, but he is never unforgettable. Contrast this with the man who carries himself with a vision that burns brighter than any distraction. His time is scarce because his mission consumes him. His energy is selective because he protects it for what truly matters. His attention is valuable because it is not handed out freely. When a woman steps into his presence, she feels it. She feels the weight of his world, and she senses that to remain in it, she must rise. That feeling alone is enough to keep her restless, to make her crave his approval, to drive her to think of him endlessly. The truth is, obsession comes not from being easy, but from being elusive in the right way. Not elusive through games or lies, but elusive because your life is rich and layered. She cannot hold all of you, because all of you does not belong to her. Some of you belongs to your craft, some to your purpose, some to your future. She may fight for more of your time, she may desire more of your energy, but she will never own you entirely. And it is that impossibility, that untouchable part of you, that drives her mad with desire. Most men surrender everything too quickly. They fall into her orbit instead of pulling her into theirs. They abandon their friends, their ambitions, their routines, just to give her every ounce of their attention. At first, she may enjoy it. She may smile at being placed at the center of his life. But soon, the smile fades. For what is left to chase when she already possesses him completely? What is left to desire when there is no mystery, no struggle, no scarcity? The fire dies, not because she is cruel, but because he made himself too available. He killed the hunger by giving her the feast before she ever felt appetite. You must be the opposite. Your life must be built in such a way that she feels privileged to be part of it. Do not hand her the crown. Make her earn her place in your kingdom. Let her feel that she is chosen, not because you have nothing else, but because you have everything else and still granted her a role. That feeling is intoxicating. It is the difference between being a man she remembers and being a man she cannot forget. She will not obsess over one who needed her, but she will obsess over the one who wanted her without needing her. This is why you must cultivate mastery over yourself, not only in discipline of the body, but in mastery of your mind, your ambitions, your path. When you live with self-mastery, when you refuse to be ruled by lust, when you demand more of yourself than anyone else demands of you, you become rare. And what is rare becomes desired. A man who cannot master himself will never master her attention. But the one who holds dominion over his impulses, who gives only when he chooses, who never begs, never chases, never folds, that man will be imprinted into her thoughts like a shadow she cannot escape. You will see this play out in subtle ways. She will test your focus, pulling at your attention, trying to distract you from your mission. If you abandon it for her, she may smile in the moment, but the seed of disappointment takes root. If you remain steady, if you continue forward, if you show that no beauty, no temptation, no drama can move you from your course, then desire blooms. She feels both frustration and admiration. She feels both longing and surrender. She realizes that to be close to you, she must align herself with your world instead of dragging you into hers. That shift is everything. It transforms her from someone who is pursued into someone who is pursuing. Do not misunderstand. This is not about neglecting her. It is about never allowing her to be the sole center of your existence. It is about creating a life so rich, so purposeful, so disciplined, that your presence feels like a reward. When she lies awake at night, she will think not only of your words or your touch, but of your aura, your command, your vision. She will wonder where you are, what you are building, who else has the privilege of your time. That wondering becomes yearning. That yearning becomes obsession. So remember, the ultimate form of desire is not sparked by gifts or flattery, nor even by physical intimacy. It is sparked by rarity, by strength, by purpose, by the self-mastery of a man who lives as if he himself is the treasure. When you reach that point, you no longer chase obsession, it chases you.